What up, brothers? It's Clipper King returning for another new review of a figure that's hot off the press. It got released in Hong Kong on Thursday morning, and here we have it in beautiful downtown Sheffield on Monday tea time. I'm going to get it reviewed up for you like I always do. Do my thank yous, my intro, get you some scores on the doors and tell you my thoughts on the figure. I will start off by saying I bought it from Budget Stock, Anthony Sang out there in Hong Kong. Bought it Thursday morning, he told me it was released. I was like, I know I don't want it, but is it worth buying it to review it and sell it? And then I thought, tell me price. He told me price, I thought it's pretty reasonable to be honest for a new release figure. It's a lot less than I were expecting, if I'm honest. And I thought, well, I put the feelers out on Facebook, so I put it straight on Facebook. I'm thinking about buying a Winter Soldier, importing it, reviewing it. Anybody want to buy it when I've reviewed it? I got about 10 answers. We in about 15 minutes of putting the post up. Bearing in mind this was about 7:15 last Thursday morning. Sold it instantly. The money got transferred. So I basically bought it and sold it before I even received it, which is nothing new for me now. I know the figures I want and I want to keep. I budget for them figures, but I do like to see others and review them because it does help my channel. So, like I said, thanks to Anthony for selling me this figure and letting me know it were out. Also, thanks to Justin for buying it. I asked him if he wanted to mention. He says just the first name will be okay. So he thinks he's some kind of, thinks he's like Cher or Prince or Madonna. He's just Justin. Clearly he's told me that because he don't want his missus to be watching my video and find out he's bought yet another figure. So Justin, I know your game, pal. Respect to you for sending me the money, knowing that you would receive this figure midweek this week. So, shout out to them guys. I'm going to roll straight on because if I can bring this review in around the half-an-hour mark, it'll please me no end because it means I'm not going to cut for as long and it won't take as long to upload. It'll also please our Callum because he likes to come home and go on his Xbox or PlayStation and he can't while I'm stood in his bedroom filming. So I'm going to crack straight on. So let's score up some categories. Just show you up and down the figure first before we start him turning. Really nice looking piece. Like I said, it was one straight off the bat I knew I didn't want, simply because I'm not going to be completing lines. And I will say as well, when I first knew it were out, I thought, oh, I'll pass this one. It don't matter to me. Don't matter. I'm not even that bothered about reviewing it. And then I thought, well, the price is pretty good. And like I said, I'd sold it as quick as I bought it. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it. The more pictures I've looked at over weekend, I also cut together a little showcase video of some of the photos from Facebook. I got more and more excited because there were things I didn't realise about the figure that I was looking forward to see by the time it came, which is sort of a reverse really for me, because sometimes I say, yeah, I'll review something, and then by the time it comes, I'm like, oh, what the fuck have I said that for? I really can't be arsed with it tonight. That's not the case with this one. I weren't arsed when I bought it, yet the anticipation sort of grown over time. So, having said all that, let's crack on and get the source material scored. I will say, and I've said on the Golden Age Captain America review, I weren't, I don't know, over the top about this film like a lot of people I think were. They raved and raved about it. When I went to see it, I don't know if it's because I'd seen so many reviews about it telling us how awesome it were and possibly the best Marvel film or the best since Iron Man 1. I went and saw it, and to be honest, I thought it were okay. I thought there were some good clips in it, but all in all, I found it very boring. I think it was sort of caught between a superhero film and sort of what it thought were a clever espionage film, and I thought, not for me. I don't know. I don't know. There were no major twists. The Nick Fury were like, oh, he's still alive. Oh, really? Is he? Wow. Winter Soldier, it's Bucky Barnes. George, is it? Yeah, it's Bucky Barnes. So what? I didn't give a fuck enough about either character to be that surprised about what were happening. And like I say, it pretty much as well ended leaving a gateway open, massively open as well, because you're thinking, what happens to S.H.I.E.L.D. now? He never beat the Winter Soldier, so where does that go to? And I will say, apart from the film, I don't know nothing at all about Winter Soldier. It's not a Marvel character I know at all. So probably because I didn't know that thread of the Captain America universe is probably why I didn't view the film so stunning. As a villain, he's pretty good, but I think he's quite shallow as regards to he's just basically there as an hitman or as an enforcer, which I don't know. I take him or leave him. That's the honest truth. I didn't think he was amazing, but I didn't think he was shit either. There's been some worse villains, let's say that. So on the source material, I'm only going to give it a 3 out of 5. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's best Marvel film and you scored Spider-Man this. I actually preferred The Amazing Spider-Man 2 to this, and I preferred Days of Future Past over both of them. And I know people will say, you're full of shit, Rick, you're full of blah, blah, blah. But like I said, I always review as I see it. And like I said, I didn't think this film was as good as a lot of other people did. So like I said, I've given the source material a steady little 3 out of 5. Rolling on to the packaging, and I do quite like this artwork. Although it is just a standard shoebox style Marvel box that we see probably once a month now with the figures they release, be it an Iron Man or an Avenger or a branch off of the Avengers film. We're seeing them constantly. They serve a purpose, although they're never going to blow your mind. It's just pretty much, is the artwork in line with the other releases? This one I think is. I've seen the Golden Age Captain America box and obviously the Black Widow. I never had it, although I have seen the boxes on eBay and so on. So I think it is in line with the Black Widow as well. Yeah, I think it's a good shot. He's looking all fresh with his Joker makeup on. It's lovely flowing hair. Look at that. He could be a wrestler with hair like that. That's beautiful. Lovely metal arm. Looking nice. Let's just say that. There's no graphics as such on the sides of the back, so it's not going to be worth showing you. I will fade into the inlay slip. And as you can see this time, it's a shot of the figure and not a movie still. Which, to be honest, with a fade, you're going to see that head sculpt really doesn't do it a great deal of favours, although it is better in hand. So not a bad looking inlay slip. Box, all in all, like I said, the artwork is quite nice, quite eye-catching, but it is only a shoebox style. Just one clam inside, which houses the figure and all the accessories, so not too much unpackaging to do. Average, again, straight down the middle. I'm going to give the packaging a 3 out of 5. Rolling on to the likeness, and this is where this figure finally comes alive. I've got to say, I think that Hot Toys have done a really good job here. Not so much with the hair sculpt, but definitely with the face sculpt. I think they've recaptured the actor really, really well. And in this portrait in particular, sort of the clean version of the head, I think the intensity in the eyes and the expression are just bang on. Of the two sculpts, it is my favourite by a country mile, to be honest. I do think if I were keeping this figure, it would nearly always be posed with this head on. I think the eyes have got really good depth. Let me get in there. Got really good depth and intention. It is quite hard to film, I will say, because with the lights above, you're nearly always in shadow of his hair. Now, if you were to dip that slightly, I do think it's really well done. Now, moving on to the other hair. I'll show you the pose first. I've just got him two-handed with the mine launcher. It's pretty upright. Oh, yeah, I think that fits well with that head sculpt. I were going to display it with this one. Now, this is what you would class as the second head. Again, really nice head. The hair sculpt is really good. The eyes are okay, although they're a little bit soft. And when I say soft, I don't mean soft paint. I mean soft as no noticeable expression in them. So, yeah, quite vacant looking, or that's how they seem to me. Again, the hair is done really well. And in general, pretty good. Now, I want to put the camera onto the tripod so I can show you. One nitpick about swapping out the head, but one thing I really like. Right, so for this demonstration, I'm basically just going to swap out the heads and talk you through what I'm doing. First nitpick, I've done this once before. Pop out the head, obviously hold the upper chest, grab the head sculpt and try and pop it off. Right, and this is going to make me look like a fucking liar, because when I did that, the first two times I went to swap it out, it kept bringing off the neck peg with the head. This time, it's clicked right into the neck, so it has swapped off really nicely. So, like I said, sometimes if it's a case that the head is taking the neck peg off with it, you've obviously got to get some needle nose pliers, warm the head up slightly and pop the head out. Make sure the neck is proper in at the bottom, and then the neck should hold it so the peg don't keep pulling out with the head. Like I said, this is the head sculpt I prefer. Can we get it in focus? It's hard to get it lit, like I said, because of these two sections of hair, here and here, is always slightly shadowed. Although I think, like I said, obviously because you can see the full face, that is the sculpt that I prefer. But let's get on to this other sculpt. Now, this sculpt, as you can see, comes with a mask. The mask is non-removable. What is removable that I didn't realise is the hairpiece, and you just pop that out. The magnet inside, a magnet on there, so it's like that. That is how it looks, which I think is a right touch, because I thought it were all one piece. I never realised that the hair came off. There is a seam sort of here on his fringe, or sort of the front section of his hair, so when the hair sculpt fits on, it does blend back in nicely. So now you can pop that head on. I will say this neck peg feels too big to me, because I'm straining like fuck to get that on. It needs to be a lot easier than that. Fucking hell, I feel like I'm gonna snap fucking neck. I don't know, just, I don't know if hole's too small or this bobble on top's too big. It's an absolute and utter fucking bitch. But we'll persevere. Oh, come on. Fucking hellfire. I can't get it on. I don't want to risk breaking this to get it on. So I'm not gonna. Which is a pain in fucking arse, because it should fit on easier than that. That's going to take some warming up in there. Either an hairdryer or dip it in a cup of hot water to make it soft enough to get this big balloon bobble inside its head. Anyway, what I wanted to show you, and I'm going to have to do it without putting it on the head now, he gets a set of these goggles, as you can see. Here, they've got hooks. You see cutaways on these hooks. And then on the side of his head, here, got this indentation. Like so. So, yeah, push it in at one side, make sure it's in at the other, and it fits like that. And again, looks quite nice. And then, obviously, this should be on the head. Put the glasses on, and then drop the head into the hair sculpt. We are trying to move the goggles, and that is how it would be. Now, because of this massive neck peg that's going to take some doing, I'm going to have to mid-cut warm this head up to put it on, just to display it, yeah, in one of the poses. But like I said, of the two, this is my favourite head. And on the strength of this one, I am going to give the likeness a 5 out of 5. This pisses me off, I've got to be honest. Rolling on to his outfit, and another strong category, just with another couple of little niggles, which, I don't know. I thought when I was going to review it, I'd really enjoy it, but it seems that for every good point, there's something else I don't like as well. And I don't know, it don't kill Figure, because Figure looks awesome. It's just little niggly things, and they're like, ah, fuck off. You know what I mean? I'm sure you feel it with certain figures, but let me show it you. Just going in a pose, pretty upright. Looking quite nice. I'm gonna talk about the front of the outfit, and then we'll look at the back. I will say the head sculpt, like I say, it needs the other head warming up to put onto that neck peg. This one pops on and off really nicely now, but the other one, because I've only had it on once, it's like the head hole is slightly too small, or just basically wants the neck peg in it for a while just so it fits. But for the sake of this review, that head sculpt's not strong enough for me to be fucking about and winding my sen up. And I'm sorry if I sound agitated by it, but that is the case. Because the other thing is, while you're trying to push that on, you're constantly shoving this section up, and then you've got to pull it down and straighten everything up all the time. So like I say, it's a niggle. On top of that, these press studs, can you see them like leather here? I'm pointing to one there, one there, one there, one there, one missing there where I'm trying to hold it to push head on, and one there. Now, Hot Toys knows this happens because look, there it is. There's the one that's come off, but they also give this little pack of them, so they know as glue's not very strong, so we're going to give you a pack of these little press studs, so that when you're ragging your figure around trying to swap head off, you're going to be losing studs. That happened, and that pisses me off, because then I think, do I glue it or do I send it now to the guy who's bought it with this missing? Now, I'm never going to lie to anybody about a figure. That one isn't on. Now, it is with a bag. If you want to glue it back on, that's your choice. So I'll just say that. Again, because you're constantly hutching things around, moving it around, you're knocking things out of place. Now, if I show you the design of the suit, basically a padded leather vest, or it's sort of a vest on this side, but it comes down the arm here. You can see the mixed materials. Looks really, really good, and is quite functional. But when you're swapping stuff on and off, like I say, it gets very, very irritating. This seems to be riding way too high to me, yet you can't really pull it anywhere, because on the back, his gun is on. Now, what you'll notice here is these guns pop on and off pretty easy. Not so much this one, but the ones on his legs do. I can't get it off left-handed. Right, what you see is he doesn't have holsters. He has a black plastic mould, and then can you see the little cutaways there? They fit into the trigger hole, so you pretty much just pop it in like that, and it stays. Now, the knives slide in that quite nice, but it's the same thing on the sides. You see how that one's on? Like I said, they're okay when you're not messing with it, but you trying to be popping head out or trying to pose it, and one gun's falling out of this one. Now, the gun that fits in there is this nice one with the 4 barrels that he's got in this hand. Really nice touch, and I do like the idea all in all, but like I said, because it's fiddly and you're moving other stuff around, it don't ever feel really safe. The knife just drops into there, as you can see. Grenade canisters pops in there, and also one in there. The bigger pistol, like the Glock style pistol, just pops into there. And then I will say the trousers are quite restrictive, very similar to Barney Ross's, similar material. What I will say on this is, you can probably see the trousers are weathered, so it does have like a dusty wash over the top of the cotton material. And then the knee pads are pretty hard, and they are classed to there. Now, that's the other thing, be really careful with them, because I don't think they take much snapping. Moving down the boot, it is a full cast boot, full sculpt, but it is quite soft and squidgy, as you can see, so you can still get some ankle articulation, don't really hinder it. I will say the belt and the pouches do come already fitted, so you're not going to mess around with them. And like I said, the double knife sheath at the back, that is in place, although it does, you can move it around, but it is already attached to the belt. It's just a matter of pushing that in. So yeah, the outfit does look really good, but like I say, as you straighten it up, you're pulling one thing out of the way. I don't like the fact that them studs fall off as easy as they do. Another thing, you've got to be, when you're posing it, you find yourself constantly hutching the sleeve down to cover the wrist peg. But once you've got it done, it does hold in position. And again, this section here and the use of the pleathers does look pretty good. So like I said, really, really good. On looks alone, it's an easy 5. And I suppose once it's posed and you're not messing around with it, then the agitation's going to go out of it. So I think I should still give it a 5 out of 5 on its outfit. But like I said, just look out for these studs, because they do come off easy. I haven't lost one, but they do come off, and you would have to glue them back on. And like I said, there is a spare set. So on the outfit, I'm going to be generous here, because as agitated as it's made me feel, I'm still going to give it a 5 out of 5 because it looks so good. Rolling on to articulation, I suppose this is a point of interest, simply because of the metallic arm on his left hand side, or bionic arm, whatever you want to call it. So I'll get onto that in a little minute. Firstly, we'll talk about, again, the popping on and off of the head is a little bit of a pain in the arse, because of the neck peg sometimes pulls out with this one, so then you've got to pop it out to use it for the other one. The other one don't fit on straight out of the box, or don't on this one. It's going to need warming up. I've mentioned that. Although when it is in place, it is a pretty good neck peg because you can get a really good dip down and quite high back. So yeah, bearing in mind he has got two really high collars. They've got to be tucked on the inside of the air, so really nice, and does move into really natural positions. So that is really good. Ab crunch, I would pretty much forget about it because this is so padded, you're never going to scrunch it right up and get a really good ab crunch. So I think it is in there, but it's not noticeable. Same with rotation, because of the belt and the straps that are holding him in place, it does lose out a little bit there as well. Firstly, we'll talk about his human arm. Now, if anybody remembers the Christopher Reeve Superman, it had one major problem. It had a double bend elbow, really nice shoulders and everything, but for whatever reason, probably the size of the lats or the inner section of the arm, it wouldn't push flush to his body. That is the same with this. That is as close to the body as that arm will go. If I rotate it in and bend it there, then it does look closer. But if his arm is square onto the body like that, that is as close it goes. Another thing that I really don't like about this is when his elbow's bent, it looks like he's got curved arms. There's no point of the elbow. That was one of the things I picked up on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. He had really good appearance of elbows and knees. This one doesn't. His arm just looks like a, I don't know, like a letter C. It just curls round. So there's no definite elbow in there. I will say it is a double bend elbow and the outfit doesn't restrict it, although with the bend going on, it does pull the sleeve really short, and that makes your wrist peg really visible. So yeah, bear that in mind. Like I say, there is rotation at the upper arm and the shoulder does move. Be careful with the suit though, because like I say, it is a pleather effect and the shoulder is really tight on that side. Moving to his metallic arm or bionic arm or whatever you want to call it. Right, the articulation at the top is really nice and really smooth. It also does this, and I'm not sure why. There's a drop section, so if you look at him, it looks really weird, like he's dislocated his collarbone. That's what I was saying, his pistols just fell out in his holster. That's just by moving arm. That's why I said the outfit gets niggly. So yeah, that's in position. It does pull down to there. I don't know why. It's like on an hinge on the inner part of the shoulder where it'll go up and down. I suppose it's so you can bring it down to move it and then pop it back up. I don't know. I suppose it helps the articulation, although from the side, if you drop the arm down, you can see right into the shoulder and it looks a little bit unsightly. So I'll just mention that. There's no rotation at the upper arm, although there is in the elbow. Fucking hell, more fingers and thumbs. Hold on. There is rotation through the elbow. Now, don't close the elbow up and then do it, because you're going to get paint rubbed between one section and the other, and the book tells you that. Right, now, just want to get that out. The elbow is a ratchet style joint, very similar feeling to the armoured version of Thor from the Dark World, but this one is really, really tight. Probably will loosen off in time, but yeah, just be careful with it. So I've loosened it off because I've bent it a couple of times. So again, that's it. No. So yeah. Right, there is rotation at the upper legs, although his legs do feel very bulky. Double bend knees. Let's move him up actually, just so I can get me a shot. Double bend knees, but because of the knee pads, be careful with that. And like I said, the boots, if I get his leg will go way up, and you can get articulation through his ankle because his boot is nice and soft. So that's pretty much the articulation. Now, another thing I will mention, the hands. Sometimes you get them soft, rubbery, pliable hands. they're a joy to swap in and out because you know you're not going to be breaking the wrist peg. These ain't got them. They do feel quite pliable on the ends, but for some reason where the wrist pegs go in and it's on both sets of hands, it does feel very, very tight and very hard. And like that, you know, when you're pushing and pushing and you're getting to that point where you think, these pegs are going to snap any second now. That is how you feel when you're swapping the hands on this figure. But I suppose everything has necessity. They could have just used a normal arm here, but they didn't for whatever reason. So like I said, it don't go as close into the body as this one, which makes it look quite odd. This arm looks good and works pretty good, although you do lose the double bend elbow. The head moves quite nice. There is restrictions. Some of them are down to the suit, some of them are down to the shape of the joints. But when he's posed, he looks quite natural, so I'm still going to give him a 4 out of 5. Right, we'll move on to his extras and accessories, and then I'll do the value and sum it up. So, as you can see, I've got the figure stripped down, so everything's off him. This is pretty much how he looks straight out the box, with his fists on. Obviously not in this position, but that's the head he'd come wearing. Like I said, none of his accessories on. So, as we move down, his most important extra, I think, would be his second head sculpt, the masked head sculpt. Like I said, it is a nice addition, and I suppose once it's on and you've got it in the display you want, you're going to be really happy with it. I always like a figure to bring two heads, whether one's stronger than the other or not. In this case, like I said, the clean head is the stronger one for me, although I'm glad that they did add the second one. I think it were a touch of genius with the removable hair, so you can get the mask on. It works really nicely, like I showed earlier, although it is hard to swap the head on. That is the mask. I will say it's not quite as fragile as the Catwoman mask. It does feel quite sturdy, it does click into place really nicely. Moving down, he has the clean right hands, so the relaxed hand, the hand for holding probably one of the knives, a spread right hand, and then a trigger right hand. He has a set of wrist pegs, obviously one's skin tone, one's black, because that's how his hands are. The set of extra studs, Hot Toys know you're going to need them, and you probably are going to. Like I said, I didn't lose the one off the jacket, that's still there, but I will put it back inside here so that you're not missing any. The left hands, the robotic hands, all pretty much are for holding something, or the fisted one that he's wearing. So as I move down and show you, he does have the black fingerless leather gloves, and then you do see the metallic hands, the fingers through, like so. Moving on to his weapons, and we'll start off small. He gets the throwing knife with a ringed handle, the two more like daggers, really nice paint application. Same with the guns, really metallic look about them, all moving parts as well. Here he has the machine gun with a grenade launcher. That all moves, and the stock pulls out and the clip comes out and everything we'd expect. The handheld sort of submachine gun, which attaches to his back, really nice. The mine launcher, the mine does pull out, although I will say it is in really tight, and I didn't attempt to pull it out. He does hold it really well as well, because of the hands that he's supplied with do hold everything he brings. Again, extendable stock on that. Then moving down to his pistols, like I said, he got the one like the Glock. Again, all movable parts and do attach onto his onto the side of his trousers, really nice. Moving down, I particularly like this pistol. It's quite small, and like I say, it does have the 4 barrels, quite bulky looking, and the silver metallic makes it look a little bit classy. And then the really tiny one here, to be honest, I'm not sure if that's a pistol or if it's an attachment to something else, because I don't remember that from the film. So, and then he does get the 2 grenades, which would fit into here. Moving across to the warnings, it tells you not to move the arm while it's bent or while it's bent tight. So that's only, not that you'd break it, it just might create paint rub, so that's what it tells you. And then here you get the instruction manual, which tells you how to fit all the accessories onto him and how to swap out the head, and the additional do's and don'ts, which there isn't really many of. So again, quite a nice set, and I don't know, they've got all the bases covered, I think. It does have the generic stand, which is welcome in my collection. And like I said, I can't think of anything else it should bring other than perhaps the Barrett, is it the Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle? I think that would have been a really nice addition because a lot of the posters show him holding that. So that would have been a good addition, but I think you could probably pick one of them up loose anyway for probably around 20 quid. So just bear that in mind. On the stuff it brings, I'm still going to give it a 5 out of 5. A second head means a lot to me. And like I said, although it is niggly to put it on and off, it is still a really nice head. So I am going to give it a 5 out of 5 on the accessories. The value, I'm going to say on this because I said on Facebook, I sold it for the price I paid for it, plus shipping from me to Justin, who is in this country. And it was £170, simply because Anthony had seen it on his way to Secret Base for cheaper than Secret Base had got it. He said, if you want it, you want one early, that's going to be the price, but I can only pick, I think he said 2 up at that price, and I'm not sure who got the second one. I think it might have been Bruce. So I think me and Bruce got them for 170. Obviously, for me to buy that and sell it on, I sold it for 170 plus the shipping from me to Justin. So I didn't make a penny on this. I'm basically just reviewing this figure for free, which I don't mind doing, or I didn't mind doing. The thing that's getting me is, when I rotate my collection, I've sold 7 figures recently, and I'm in the forums, and I'm also known on YouTube, so I'm getting people bidding on my stuff who then don't want to pay for them, or I think they're helping me by boosting the prices, and then somebody will win it and they don't want it, and it's doing me nothing, to be honest. More so than I'm letting on as well. I've moaned about it all weekend, but it happens all the time now, and it's probably been happening for a year. It gets to a point where I sold my Spider-Man 3 for £100 plus shipping other day, which I didn't mind because I've got the new Spider-Man. I'm not trying to make a killing on out, but I don't want to get bummed on everything. I'm fair with everybody, and like I say, I haven't made a single penny on this figure. I've basically reviewed it for free. I will make on the AdSense money, which I do look at, but I don't know, when I put a brand new figure up, I'm getting people scrabbling for them. When I try and sell my own collection, nobody wants them, or they want them at car boot sale prices, and I can't do it no more. I don't want to make a deal of money out of this hobby, but again, I don't want to be costing me some money as well, because I'm going to be honest, a lot of times through the year I boost my collection knowing that at some point around October, November, December, I'm going to need to sell some figures to buy my 3 kids Christmas presents. Now the truth is, in my mind, I thought that them 7 figures would bring me a certain amount of money. Now, I will say I'm about £200 down on what I expected for them figures, but that is how it goes. But like I say, it does piss me off, but what am I going to fucking do? Walk out of hobby or carry on doing what I'm doing? I don't know. But anyway, little fucking, I digress there. So the value, it were 170. So 170 for a figure that brings this much stuff, for me, is pretty good value. It's not amazing, because amazing would have been about 130, but that's just not going to happen. So I am going to give the value a 4 out of 5. That gives the overall score on this figure 29 out of a possible 35, which is a really, really high score. And I think if you listen back to this review a few times, you realise I'm pretty pissed off, particularly around the early section of the review. And I'm going to say it like this. This figure to me is really nice to display, but it's a pain in arse to pose, and it's a pain in arse to set up. Once you've got it set up with your collection, you're going to like it, but probably you're going to have the same niggles and nitpicks that I've got. That's the honest truth. Is it a must-have figure? Unless you're a Captain America fanatic, I would say no. It's easy past, although because the price is quite low, I think a lot of people will pick this figure up. And like I said, when they've got it in the collection and they've got it all displayed, I think they will have a really nice piece. Although getting it to that stage is going to do the fucking heads in. But that's another review done. I hope you like it. Please leave your comments, like, subscribe. For now, this is Uncle Rick Meister and the Winter Soldier, and we're out of here.